guys, welcome back to my channel. Joining us today is someone who knows to make words work like magic. He's a copywriter, filmmaker, and social media consultant who helps brands tell their stories in a most compelling way. He's also a founder of 10 by 10 agency where he's redefining marketing with a fresh and unconventional approach. So much so that he calls himself Copywriting. We'll get into that later. With a background in journalism and mass communication and years of experience in crafting powerful brand narratives, he has a lot to share about marketing, content, and personal branding. Let's welcome Manjeet Kumar. Hello, how are you?
Ananya, I'm good and I'm so sorry for yesterday. It happened, things happens like this. Kal, I had nothing to do, but had an emergency, so had to take my dog. और क्लैश कर गया टाइम तो मैं आपको बता भी नहीं पाया. I texted you 2 घंटे पहले so that you know. Anyways, we are here today.
No problem. So, are you nervous or something?
I am not nervous. I would like to ask you the same question. What are your feelings about the conversation that we are going to have today?
I don't have any nervousness right now. So let's see. Are you gonna ask me questions? Based on that, I'll get to know.
I can take up your role as well. If you want me to ask you questions, I'll be doing it happily. That's what.
Yeah, sure. Now let's start with me asking you questions now. So you have built a career in copywriting, filmmaking, and social media consulting, right? So
Yes.
tell us, like, how did you get interest in these fields?
So I'll give you a quick background that where I come from and how did I start. So I am from a small town in Jharkhand. It's called Bokaro. I studied. I was always interested in literature because I was a reader and I used to write poems and all since I was a kid. So that's how I got into literature. I studied literature. Then I got into mass communication, and that's where I was introduced to advertising. I started as a copywriter, a hardcore copywriter, then eventually moved into strategy, and then eventually moved into pitches and art and social media and stuff like that. And so that's how it happened. And since I was writing for ads, I got interested in screenwriting as well, because cinema is something that I really love, and my ultimate goal is also to be a filmmaker. So that's how it shaped up. Everything is interconnected. If you see advertising, filmmaking, social media marketing, copywriting, these all are interconnected to each other. So one by one, I got into everything, and fast forward 7 years, here I am. So yeah.
So is there any filmmaking script you have written so far?
Yes, not a feature film script, I would say, but yes, I have assisted screenwriters. I have helped. I have worked as a script supervisor. So what a script supervisor does, that any minor or major changes that has to be done in the script, or continuity issues or anything XYZ that has to be improvised or iterated in the script supervisors do that. So I was in Bombay for 2-3 years before COVID. So there I was assisting filmmakers and screenwriters as well. So I did assist in a couple of feature films, documentaries. I did assist some really good writers, and that's when COVID hit and the entire industry was shut down. If you remember,
Yeah.
Bollywood, Tollywood, anything you say. So that's when I came back to advertising. I came back to Delhi at that time, and since then I have been here. So yeah.
So tell us more about copywriting, what it is and what makes a good copy.
You tell me first, what do you understand? When someone says copywriting, what is your understanding about it?
I think of it like a script, basically, about any product or any reviews, you can say.
So I'll tell you what copywriting is. The basic book definition of copywriting is that anything you write that is to sell. With the any written piece of content, which basically you write to sell, to persuade, that is copy, and the process is called copywriting. But I think with time the definition has evolved. पहले क्या होता था कि what happened earlier, any long form content was not considered copy. Anything that you write to, that you used to write to entertain or let's say educate or aware, for example blogs हो गए या features हो गए, उनको copy नहीं मानते थे. But I think the perception is changing now. I think any piece of any written piece is a copy. From a small samosa wala का ठेला से लेके to a multinational brand का brand book हो गया, copy हर जगह है अभी. Because now what has happened that 𝗁𝗠 has taken over. A lot of people are now using internet. There are a lot of influencers around us. तो सबको अभी attention span सबका कम हो गया, तो everybody is fighting for attention. So anything that you are writing has to fight for attention, right? It has to make you stop scrolling, or it has to make you stop and read. So I think yes, this is how the definition of copywriting has evolved, that anything that you write, whether it is to sell, whether it is to persuade, whether it is to attract, to entertain, to make you laugh, to make you feel anything, it's copywriting now.
So what is
that is the updated definition, you can say. Yes?
What is a myth about copywriting you would like to say?
Oh, there are a lot of myths. I mean, the common one that I think आपने भी सुना होगा कि copywriting और content writing का difference क्या होता है. I mean, most of the HRs out there are trying to hire copywriters, but they are carrying a JD of a content writer because they do not have the basic understanding कि दोनों में difference क्या होता है. Do you understand the difference between copy and content?
No, I'm asking you. What's the difference?
So what happens that see, content is everywhere, right? From your newspaper to white papers, हर जगह content है. But every piece of content is not copy. Let's say कि you are a multinational brand and you have your CSR report with you, right? पूरे साल भर का CSR report आपके पास है. Now it's a 100-page document. That's a white paper. Now somebody has to write it, and there is no scope of copy there. क्योंकि it's an internal document that internal people will go through, that employer branding के लिए काम आएगा वो, या internal communications के लिए काम आएगा वो. So वो piece of content जो है वो कौन लिखेगा? For example, there are other examples also. जैसे for example, any XYZ brand have their blogs, and they have the blogs for SEO mainly, so that they can rank on Google. Now SEO blogs are majorly a content writing task because it's long form. उसमें आपको keywords integrate करना पड़ेगा. The blog has a structure. It has a starting, it has a body, it has a conclusion, it has snippets and XYZ. So that is content writing. Whenever it comes to long form, whenever it comes to things that you do for awareness point of view, or anything that is for brand's internal communication, these things come into content. But when it comes to copywriting, the first purpose is to sell. That any copy is basically written to mainly sell. And if it is not written to sell, then it is written to either persuade you or make you think about the brand or the product, or maybe to stop you scrolling. So content can be in general. Content का कोई purpose, बहुत बड़ा purpose नहीं हो सकता है in sometimes, but copy always has a very specific purpose. That is the key difference. And mainly copy is in short form, and content is in long form. Although there are long copy also, but majorly it is in short form.
Okay, so in both you can say, like copywriting as well as content creation, storytelling plays a very important role.
Absolutely, right? I mean, that is the key.
So what is your point on it, like take on it, like what kind of storytelling do you include in your content?
See, I think storytelling is the must-have skill for any copywriter or content writer, because you do not only use it in your content or copy, but in general in your life also. For example, I am a copywriter, but I have recently started my agency. It's called 10x10 agency. Now we are pitching a lot of clients. I am using storytelling in my pitches now, and that has been that has given me a lot of good results recently. So what happened that I quit my last job. I was in that agency for past 4 years, and I was thinking about starting something of my own. It was going on in my mind for few months. Finally I took the decision, left the agency and took some time off to figure out कि कैसे क्या करना है, क्या प्लान करना है, कब करना है. In that time I thought कि let's do some experimental pitches on LinkedIn only. Let's try to pitch brands publicly. But how do I pitch them? Because I do not have the detailed insights about the brand, right? I cannot ask the brand कि आप मेरे को अपना audience segmentation बता दो, आप मेरे को अपना XYZ details बता दो, which will eventually help me draft that pitch. So what I did, rather than going into such details, I created stories. I found an insight कि brand कौन सा एक insight है जिस पे brand play कर सकता है, and I created an entire story around it. कि how that insight is crucial, who are the people who are going to benefit from them, and from there I arrived to a campaign idea and then campaign execution. So if you go to my LinkedIn and see the public pitches that I have done in the past, you'll find a story from first to start. Even if I'm not pitching you in person, if you are only going through that deck, the pitch is pitching itself basically. So you'll find that story, it will keep you hooked from the start to the end. So why I am giving this example is because I mean storytelling helps you everywhere, whether you are pitching, whether you are writing, whether you are brainstorming, or maybe you are trying to learn something, teach something. It plays a very crucial role especially in writers' life.
So how do you get these stories about the companies who you want to pitch? Like, how do you do the research about them? How do you get to know about it?
So basically what I do, the first rule to crack a campaign or to write copy is to find an insight. Now, what is an insight? An insight is something that the users really need to be fixed, to be solved, you can say. So for example, I'll give you an example. For example, if I'm pitching a brand जो कि cabs service provide करते हैं, right? Let's say कि I'm pitching Ola or I'm pitching Uber. So first I will find an insight कि what is that problem that Ola is solving. Then once I have the insight, I will go into the audience, that who are the people who are actually benefiting from this problem solving process. Then what is the core communication that will resonate with this audience, that is in line with the brand also, and that is making sense to the audience also. Once we have that communication cracked, then we will go to execution, that how this campaign idea or how this core communication will be amplified basically. कि इसको सोशल मीडिया में कैसे लेके जाएंगे, इसको फिल्म्स में कैसे लेके जाएंगे, इसको प्रिंट में, आउटडोर्स में कैसे लेके जाएंगे. So step by step, first you crack an insight, then you understand who is it helping, then you वहाँ से you come up with a core communication line or campaign idea, then you plan the amplification or execution, you can say, and then you basically conclude it with a detailed roadmap. This is how the first month will look, this is how the second month will look, and these are the activities that we are doing in the first month to sustain the campaign or to launch the campaign. Then going forward in the second, third month, these are the activities that we are going to sustain the campaign basically and amplify it. So this is how you do it step by step. A lot of research and brainstorming is of course involved, and teamwork hai. So the more people you have working on the same brief, the better the output is.
So how do you get to know about your audience? Like, how do you choose the audience? These are the right audience. You gave example of Ola now. How do you get to know that these are the audience who are using Ola and benefiting from it?
So ये सबसे पहले तो personal experiences से आता है, because I mean we all use cabs, right? We all use Ola, Uber, Blue Smart and such kind of cab services. तो कहीं ना कहीं you know कि what are the key problems that it is solving. For example, I'll give you a quick example. रात के 12 बज गए हैं, you are sitting at a friend's and बारिश हो रही है, right? You won't like अगर आपका ड्राइवर बार बार कैंसिल कर रहा है, right?
Yeah.
So this is one major problem कि ड्राइवर्स कैंसिल कर देते हैं बार बार. What if Ola comes up and says कि भाई हमारे पास कोई ड्राइवर कैंसिलेशन नहीं है. If you have booked a ride, the ride is guaranteed, the driver will come. तो मेरे लिए फ्रॉम द ऑडियंस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू मेरे लिए ये एक्चुअली वर्क कर रहा है, राइट? कि यार अगर मैं 12 बजे भी ओला करूँगा और अगर ड्राइवर कैंसिल नहीं कर रहा है तो दिस इज़ द ऐप आई शुड बी यूजिंग. सो दिस इज़ हाउ यू अंडरस्टैंड कि ओके क्या छोटी छोटी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं और किस तरह के लोग हैं जिनको ये अफेक्ट कर रहा है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इस तरह की प्रॉब्लम्स किनको अफेक्ट कर सकती हैं? वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल्स को कर सकती हैं, पेरेंट्स को कर सकती हैं, स्टूडेंट्स को कर सकती हैं, राइट? द ऑडियंस इज़ वेरी लार्ज आई वुड से. So this is how you identify कि what are the segments जिनके problems को actually ये solve कर रहा है. And for this you definitely use internet, you use Google, you use GPT, you use a lot of other research tools to get some insights on the audience, that what is the demography, what is the age group, what are the preferences your audience is having. So this is how you go about it.
So all of this falls in market research, right? Researching about your market or audience.
Yes, you can say. I mean, I won't say market research, but I would say brand research. I think that makes it that justifies it a little better, because market research is again a very big umbrella. And yeah, so brand research we can say कि everything around the brand, कि कौन किसको cater कर रहे हैं, उनकी क्या problems है, कैसे solve कर रहे हैं, किस price point पे कर रहे हैं, किस age group को कर रहे हैं, and all that.
So being a founder of 10 by 10 agency, how do you solve your customers' problem, or you can say the problems of your leads?
See, now what has happened that brands come with a brief. When you are running an agency, brands always come with a brief. LinkedIn पे I was pitching brands publicly, तो I had this creative liberty कि यार अपने हिसाब से I can plan a story, अपने हिसाब से I can crack an insight, campaign and everything. But on the flip side, अभी 10 by 10 में the brands that we are onboarding, they already have a problem identified. मेरे को वो identify करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ रही. So they come and tell me कि यार these are the key problems that we are facing. Now you tell us कि इसको कैसे fix करना है. तो वहाँ पे what we try to do, we try to create some custom tailored solutions, you would say. For example, we recently onboarded a brand. They are into organic food. Okay. Now their product packaging is amazing, their products are amazing, but they were not getting social media traction. So engagement was their key problem. So उनके लिए जो भी हमें strategy बनानी थी, it has to be around engagement. Right. So वहाँ से we take a start, and then we research a little the competitors also, the past and current trends also, that what has been working, what has not been working, and then we come up with a customized strategy. So this is how it happens.
So speaking about engagement on social media, so it's difficult for some brands to put themselves out there. So what do you think there are few mistakes brands do when it comes to engagement or showing themselves on social media?
The biggest problem that brands have, as per me, is generic content. I mean, it's flooded with generic content. 90% of content from brands, especially you see on social media, is generic. Like, you will never stop. अगर scroll कर रहे हो, कोई brand आया जिसने कुछ लिख रखा है अपने post पे, you are not going to stop. Also, the second problem that I was able to identify, that the shift in video has not happened completely yet. I mean, I still think there are 90% of the brands have not still shifted to video, which is a big problem, because nobody cares about static, to be honest, unless and until you are doing it like Zomato and Blinkit. Nobody gives a damn about it. So that is the problem. So what we do, we also try to push our clients to have a very healthy content mix. By saying a healthy content mix, I mean you should have statics also, you should have topicals also, but at the same time you should have UGCs or videos or influencers or such kind of things also, so that our content bucket has a lot of things, a very healthy mix of different buckets. So this is how you tap users, because every user has a different preference, right? आपको Zomato वाली copy पढ़ना पसंद है, मेरे को videos देखना पसंद है, but we both are the customers of the brand. Yeah. So we need to cater to that also.
So what do you think, which trends are like gonna be famous in future for social media and speaking of content creation?
See, there are a lot of trends. I mean, topicals are always there. Moment marketing is always there. कुछ ना कुछ हो जाता है तो trend तो बन ही जाता है. For example, अभी जो आने वाले ट्रेंड हैं, one very obvious is Holi. Holi is coming. So there will be a lot of Holi campaigns you will see, a lot of Holi topical posts you will see. IPL is coming up, so that's a big opportunity for brands to tap into IPL. इसके अलावे अगर आप ट्रेंड्स की बात बोलोगे तो I think like influencer marketing came. Then it is saturated now. It's a big industry now. Then UGCs came और थोड़ा माइक्रो निशिंग हो गई उसकी कि अब UGCs आ गए, यूजर जनरेटेड कंटेंट आ गए. I think the next trend would be EGCs, which is employee generated content. It is still new and not a lot of brands know about it. Not a lot of strategy people know about it, but it has already started in the foreign market. What happens that एक एम्प्लॉय जब ह्यूमन होके आपके अपने ब्रांड के बारे में जब बातें करता है तो it serves two communities basically, the customers also and the talent also that the brand is looking to hire. That is one new trend that I think is going to capture the market in the next 1, 2, 3 years.
Hey guys, that's all for today. This whole session is divided into part 1 and part 2. If you like this part, make sure you comment down in the comment section with the thoughts. And also do not forget to subscribe the channel for more such content. And if you want to be a part of this whole podcast, you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn, which I have attached in my about section. That's all for today. See you in the next part.